Hi and welcome to this yoga for the winter blues class. So you will need a couple of props, one prop for this class. You'll either need a yoga block or a hard book, or if you haven't got that, you can use a couple of towels or a blanket, or you can use a pillow off your bed. If you're using a couple of towels, you just want to fold it up so you've got a little bit of height there, and you can just place it to one side for now. We'll use those towards the end of the class. And when you're ready, we'll just make our way down to a comfortable seat. Any comfortable position is fine. For this first bit, you can even take a lying down position if that's better for you. And then softening the gaze or closing the eyes if you like. We'll start by taking some deep breaths. Just watching the breath as it flows in and out of the body. Just following that movement, noticing the changes in the body as the breath moves in and out. Now start to bring your attention to how the body is feeling today. Noticing any emotions or feelings that arise. Maybe just noticing any physical sensations. And observing these without judgment. Reminding yourself that every emotion has a beginning and an end. We're in a constant state of flow, and nothing is fixed. And sometimes we might experience emotions that have a certain intensity, and that's perfectly fine, it's perfectly normal. We just want to remind ourselves that it's not a permanent state, that these feelings, just like the breath, will flow in and out of the body and the mind. Now just letting go of any physical sensations, any focus on the sensations within the body, and bring the focus back just to the breath. And from there, we'll just start to bring the torso over towards the right knee, drawing the chest around to the left knee, and then rounding through the back. So we're drawing big circles with the torso and the hips, just moving in one direction. And then switching to the opposite direction. You can keep your eyes closed while you do this if you like, maybe continuing to move with the breath. And just making your way back up to center. From here we'll start to awaken up the spine. So during cold weather we do tend to get a bit more stiff in the back, in the spine. So we'll move through all 6 movements of the spine, starting with a side stretch. So bringing the left palm down to the floor. And on the inhale, just reaching the right arm up and over, keeping the sitting nice stretch through the side body. Maybe taking a few movements here, just gently up and down. And then inhale, bring both arms up and overhead. And exhale, take to the opposite side. Again, maybe take in some small movements here, or you can stay in stillness. It's completely up to you. This is your practice. And then inhale, coming back up to center. From here, we'll move into a twist. So taking the right hand to the left knee, left hand comes behind us. On the inhale, we'll lengthen through the spine. And on the exhale, we'll send the gaze over the left shoulder. Breathing here. Then inhale, bring both arms back in front and up and overhead. And exhale, taking it to the opposite side. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to send the gaze over the right shoulder. Nice deep breaths here. Inhale, coming back to center, bringing both arms up and overhead, stretching through the fingertips. And then exhale, releasing the hands behind you, interlacing the fingers, either bringing the palms together or having a nice loose grip. Just start to draw the hands down, so opening up through the chest. So for a slight back bend here, gaze can be up if that feels okay for the chest and for the neck. And then if you like, you can start to hinge forward at the hips, maybe bringing the arms up and overhead. And then gently releasing the arms, bring the hands out in front of you, dropping the head down for a forward fold, keeping the sitting bones grounded. And then walking the hands back up. From here we'll move into an all fours position. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists and the knees, or the hips over the knees. And we'll take a few cat-cows here, so continuing to warm up the spine, so getting rid of any stiffness, any tension in the back and in the spine. So on the inhale, dropping the belly down, lifting the gaze up. And exhale, round through the spine, chin to chest, drawing the navel in. Inhale to make our way back up for our cow. Exhale, chin to chest, navel in, rounding through that back. Last time, inhale to come back up. Exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And then inhale to come back up to our neutral spine. From here, we'll send the left foot back. It's coming onto the ball of the left foot. We'll just start to gently rock back and forth here, waking up the muscles in the back of the leg. Nice calf stretch. And on the inhale, we'll pick the left foot up and just place it to the opposite side of the right leg. Sending the gaze towards the fingertips. Towards the toes. Or the fingertips if that feels better for the neck. Stretching through the side body. And then inhale to bring that foot back in, and then just draw the knee back into our tabletop position. We'll take that on the opposite side now, so right foot out behind onto the ball of the foot. We'll just gently start to rock back and forth here. Pushing through both hands, pushing the knuckles down so we're not dumping all the way into the wrists. And then lifting that right foot up, we'll place it to the left and send our gaze towards the toes. And then inhale to come back to center, make your way back into your tabletop position. From here, we'll engage the core, so really pull the navel in and just lift the left leg up so that the foot is to the floor. And then we'll draw that knee in towards the nose, round through the back. And from there, you can plant that foot down in between the hands. You might need to use your left hand to get your foot there. You might like to untuck the back toes, maybe even shimmy that back knee back. We want to keep the front knee over the ankle. You can come onto the fingertips if you like. And we'll be drawing the left hip back and the right hip forward, so our hips are nice and in line. And then maybe bringing the hands onto the top of the leg and working here, just starting to get into that hip, into the hip flexors, into the front of the leg. And on the inhale, reaching the arms up, stretching through the fingers. And then drawing the hands together in prayer. Just bring the hands down in front of the chest. And on the exhale, we'll take the right elbow to the outside of the left knee, moving on the exhale so we've got more space to get around. And from here, start to push into the hands to deepen yourself into the twist. We're aiming for a straight line between the two elbows, but that's just the direction we're working in, so wherever you are today is perfectly fine. And we'll just hold it here for a few deep breaths. So these twists are really good for refreshing the blood to the organs and the digestive system and around that area. They're known as being quite good for detoxing the body and also for just for general aid in digestion. And after the next exhale, slowly coming out of it, bringing the arms up and overhead, reaching through the fingertips, gaze can be up. And then exhale to place the hands down, framing that front foot. From here, we'll start to walk the hands backwards, straightening that front leg, pulling the toes in towards the face, so getting a nice stretch through the back of the leg, maybe the hamstring. And we'll just start to straighten and flex the toes, so drawing the toes out towards the front of the mat, and then drawing them back in. And we'll just do that a few times. Waking up the ankle and the muscles in the back of the leg. And then planting that foot back down, walking the hands back, plant the foot, and we'll just bring that foot back, arriving back in our tabletop position. And we'll do the same on the opposite side now. So drawing the navel in, lifting that right leg up, sole of the foot towards the floor. And then draw that knee in towards the nose as you run through the back. And then see if you can plant that foot at the front of the mat in between the hands. Maybe untucking the back toes, maybe shimmying that back knee back, making sure that the knee and the ankle are aligned, and pulling the left hip forward, right hip back so your hips are in line as well. And staying on your fingertips so you can come up onto the top of the leg. Just holding it here, get into the front of the hip, into the front of the leg. And on the next inhale, reaching the arms up, gaze can be up if that feels good for the neck. And then bringing the hands together, draw the hands down into prayer in front of the chest. On the exhale, sending the left elbow to the outside of the right knee, moving into our twist. Pushing into those hands to get deeper into the twist if you like. And we'll just hold it here for a few deep breaths. And slowly on the next exhale, unwind hands up. And then gently placing the hands down onto the floor, bringing that foot back, making your way back into your all fours position, maybe repositioning the legs and the knees if you need to, and we'll just start to walk the hands up and onto our knees. So from here we'll take a baby camel pose by bringing the hands behind us, fingertips pointing down. I want the hands about on the sacrum, so not pushing into the lower back, it's below that. And start to draw your elbows together, pushing the hips forward and sending the gaze up. So just go as far as what feels comfortable for you. This is just a baby camel, we're not moving into a full camel. This is a really nice chest opening pose, so a heart opening pose. Heart opening poses are quite energetic. And then slowly on the inhale, just making our way back up, bringing the hands forward, bringing the tailbone down towards the heels of the feet. You can either have the knees together or you can have the knees out so they're mat distance apart with the big toes to touch. And then just walking the hands forward, dropping the head down for a child's pose. Taking some deep breaths here. And gently when you're ready, just walking the hands back up, bringing the knees in. We'll tuck the toes, continue to walk the hands back, lifting the knees up to straighten the legs. Feet can be either, so the big toes are touching, you can have them about hip distance apart. Dropping the head down, so we're in our forward fold now. Having the knees bent as much as you like. If you've got quite tight hamstrings like I do, then just keeping a nice generous bend, maybe resting your torso on the tops of your legs, and maybe even wrapping the arms around the legs, so hugging the body in. This can feel quite nice. Otherwise, if you prefer, you can let the hands dangle, maybe taking opposite hands to opposite elbows and just resting here. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here in this forward fold. And this is a good pose for regulating the circulation system. Our circulation system can definitely decrease a little bit in colder weather, so this is quite a nice one for just regulating that. And when you're ready, releasing the arms if you haven't got them released already, and we'll just start to roll up to standing one vertebra at a time. Keeping the chin in towards the chest, bringing the head up last. And rolling the shoulders up and back when you arrive there. Taking that nice and slow. If you come up too quick, you might feel a little bit dizzy, so just taking as long as you need to get there, rolling your shoulders back a couple of times when you do. Great. So we'll just stand in our Tadasana pose for a moment before we move into our standing sequence. Arms down by the side. And we'll just lift all 10 toes off the mat, feeling our body really ground into the four corners of the feet. And then just gently placing all 10 toes back down. And from here we'll step forward with the left leg, moving into a high lunge position. So we're on the ball of the back foot. We want our front knees that stacked over the ankles, so readjusting the feet if you need to. Bringing our hands to our hips, bringing our hips in line. And on the inhale, reaching the arms up, stretching through the fingertips. And then exhale to release the arms down. We'll pivot the toes so they're facing the right edge of the mat. And from here, we'll pivot the toes out 45 degrees each way. Bring our hands to our hips. We'll just start to squat down. You can readjust the hips, maybe move side to side to get there. Maybe even widening the stance. We'll keep the tailbone tucked so the back's nice and straight. And then bring our arms out so they're cactus, palms facing forward. So this is our goddess pose, a very strong pose and a really good pose to connect ourselves to the rest of the body and to the ground. Just holding it here. And on the inhale, start to straighten the legs, straighten the arms, coming up for 5 pointed star. And exhale, coming back down into goddess pose. Inhale, coming back up, 5 pointed star. Exhale to goddess. One more time, inhale, 5 pointed star. Exhale, goddess pose, holding it here again. And then coming up to a standing position, pivoting the toes so they're pointing forwards this time. Hands can come back down to the hips. And we'll just start to hinge forward at the hips, keeping the back nice and straight. Coming down into our torsos about parallel to the floor, holding it here for the inhale. Imagine you've got something pulling you from the crown of the head, maybe a string attached, pulling you forward so the back's nice and straight. And then exhale, continue to hinge at the hips, bringing the torso down. You can release the hands down to the floor, maybe coming onto fingertips, releasing the head. Maybe gently shaking it out, yes and no. And then bring the left hand in front of your face and on the inhale with the right arm, just bringing it up towards the ceiling for a twist. Gaze can be up or it can be down towards the hand. And then exhale, releasing that hand back down to the floor. And on the next inhale, take to the opposite side, left arm up, twisting towards the left. And then exhale, releasing that hand back down. Inhale to come onto fingertips, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, fold. One more time, inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time bring your hands to your hips, start to push through the legs, maybe bending the legs a little bit, drawing the navel in, making your way back up to a standing position. From here, take your right foot, pivot it towards the right edge of the mat. Come onto the ball of the left foot, so we're coming into a high lunge on the opposite side. Maybe readjusting yourself if your balance is a little bit off like mine. Bring your hands to your hips, leveling those hips up so they're parallel to the front edge of the mat. And then inhale, raising the arms up, gaze can be up. And exhale, release the arms down and just step that back foot forward, arriving back at the front of the mat where we started. And we'll just take a few deep breaths there, noticing how the body feels now. Noticing, again, any feelings or any emotions that might arise in the body. And noticing how they change throughout this practice. So from here, we'll just rotate so we are facing the rest of the mat, so we've just got enough room in front of us for our next step. So we'll just inhale, reach the arms up, fingertips are up. Exhale, fold forward. From here, walk the hands out, moving into a downwards dog. So walk the hands out and then draw the hips back, drop the head down,
push into the whole hand here, so pushing those knuckles down, broadening through the back, maybe keeping a nice bend in those knees to keep the back nice and straight. Or if you've got quite open hamstrings, you can start to push the heels of the feet down towards the floor. Holding it here for a few deep breaths. And then slowly start to walk the hands back. And rolling back up to our standing position. Bring our arms up and overhead, stretching through the fingertips. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward. Start to walk the hands out again, coming back into our downwards dog. Holding it here. And then walking the hands back once again, arriving into our forward fold. And gently just rolling up. Get our arms up and overhead, gaze can be up. And exhale, releasing the arms down by the side. So from here, we'll just send the feet out, so they're about hip distance apart. You want your toes so they're pointing off the mat, about 45 degrees. And the feet are, they're out about just over hip distance apart, but you might want to readjust it as we come into this pose. Bring your hands to your hips and we'll just slowly start to squat down. You might like to rock side to side as you do this. Just coming down to as far as feels comfortable for you, so you might be up here today and that's perfectly fine. If you do have a yoga block or a pillow or something, you can always pop that under your sitting bone just to sit on as well. That can feel better for some people. And maybe bringing your hands to the insides of the legs, bring the hands into prayer, pushing into the hands, opening up those hips. You can either be on, so your heels are down on the floor, you can come up onto the toes of the balls of the feet. Sorry, I can't talk today. And we'll just hold it here. You can either stay in this position if you like, in this Malasana pose, or if you would like to challenge yourself today, you can try taking a crow pose. These are very good at improving your concentration. They're also a little bit fun. If you do have any wrist issues, then you might like to sit this one out, or maybe put a little bit of padding under the hands, but just see how you go. So we'll bring the palms of the hands on the floor. We want to really push the knuckles of the hands down. And we'll just lift the hips up and just heel toe the feet in slightly so that the feet are behind the wrists. And from here, you can start to maybe just rock forward, bring in so you're almost making shells out of your upper arms and just bringing the weight forward. You're resting the top part of the shin on the top of the forearm. So you might just be here today, just rocking back and forth. Or you might like to try and pick up one foot off the floor. Maybe pick up the other foot off the floor. And if you fall out of it, you can always come back into it. Just trying that a few times. And if at any point you want to come out of it and come back to your Malasana pose, maybe moving a little bit side to side, you can do that too. And just taking your last crow pose or crow attempt now before coming back into your squat position and just making your way onto your We'll be making our way onto the floor now, so make sure you've got enough room behind you, make sure you've got your block or your rolled up towel nearby because you'll need that in a moment. And bring the hands out in front, palms facing forward. See if you can come down with control so you can engage in the core a little bit here. Try and keep those feet grounded. Making your way back, bring the arms up and overhead. Maybe taking a full body stretch here, so stretching through the fingertips, stretching through the toes. And exhale, just releasing it down. So from here, we will bring the soles of the feet to the floor and cross the left ankle over the right leg. The hands can either just rest down by the side, so opening up the left hip. Or if you like, you could try lifting the right foot off the floor, maybe interlacing the hands behind the leg. So just working here into the outer hip of the left leg. And then placing that leg back down. From here we'll just cross that left leg over the right leg and then drop those legs over to the right side. The arms can come out to a cactus if you like, or you can have the hands out to a T with the palms facing down. Gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or you can send the gaze over towards the left. And just draw that navel in as you bring the legs back up and cross the legs. We'll take that on the opposite side, so the right leg over the left knee this time. Keep the toes pointing in towards the knee. Staying here, maybe lifting that left leg up, interlacing the hands behind the leg. And just taking a few nice deep breaths here. And just releasing the hands, crossing that right leg over the left leg and just dropping the legs over towards the left side. Arms either out at cactus arms, so palms facing up, or you can have the arms out as a T, palms facing down. Gazing up or sending the gaze over the right. And on the next inhale, just bringing the legs back up to center, slowly uncrossing the legs. Keeping the soles of the feet on the floor, the feet are about hip distance apart here. Arms can be down by the side, so this is where you will need your prop, so your block or your blanket. We'll be taking a supported bridge pose. So just tucking the tailbone, lifting the hips up and placing your prop under the sacrum and then just resting it back down here. And the arms can come out to the side. You can have the palms facing up if you like. Making sure there's a gap between your chin and your chest, and about an apple distance is quite good. Just making sure we're not creating any tension around the jaw, around the neck. And we'll just take a few deep breaths here. This is a very restorative pose. And it's quite calming for the nervous system as well, so really engaging the parasympathetic nervous system here. Nervous system associated with our rest and digest. And just taking some nice deep breaths. You can either stay in this supported bridge pose, or if you like, you have a couple of options now. You can take a waterfall pose by just gently bringing both legs up and in front of you. I apologise, the cat was scratching at the door. So either bringing both legs up and you can keep the prop under your sacrum if you like while you do this. Maybe readjusting that prop if you like. So just staying here. Or you can do this pose without any prop at all if you prefer. So removing the prop and sending the legs up towards the ceiling. Or if you have a wall nearby, you can also send your legs up against the wall. So this is legs up the wall pose, and it can feel quite nice to have the legs supported against the wall. And again, we'll just take a few deep breaths here. This pose is great for the circulation system. And it's also great for the lymphatic system, as we can get lymph stuck in our feet. And by reversing the flow of blood, it can help remove lymph to the lymph nodes, so removing toxins from the body. Just take in a few more deep breaths here. And when you're ready, just slowly making your way out of the pose, bring the soles of the feet down. Maybe removing any props that you've got and just rolling the pelvis back down. We'll be moving into our final resting pose in a moment. So just take in any final poses that you would like to take, or any movements you'd like to take. So maybe bringing the knees in towards the chest and gently just moving side to side. Or you might like to just windshield wipe the legs side to side, gently releasing any tension in the lower back. And when you're ready, you can either send your legs out long, arms can come out by the side, palms facing up. Or you might like to have your feet so they're mat distance apart with your knees just dropping in so your lower back's supported. Or if you'd like to open up the hips a little bit more, take Supta Baddha Konasana by drawing the soles of the feet together, letting the legs or the knees just fall open towards the side. So taking whichever option is best for you. And just bringing your focus back to the breath by taking some deep breaths. And then starting to bring the attention back to any sensations in the body, noticing any feelings or emotions that have arisen, noticing any physical sensations, and just noticing how that's changed since the start of the practice, and throughout the practice today. Just reminding ourselves that we are not our emotions, and that emotions can change and come and go. And just being aware of the absence of those emotions, as well as the presence. Now just letting go of the focus on any sensations in the body and just bring the focus back to the breath. Just watching how the breath flows in and out of the body. And noticing how the body changes with that movement and that flow. And start to bring your awareness to any sounds around you, any sounds in the room. Maybe the sound of a cat purring, if you have a cat on your chest like I do. You can start to make some small movements, maybe moving the fingers and toes. Maybe starting to rock the head side to side. And start to draw the knees in towards the chest if you like. And when you're ready, maybe rolling onto one side. And just slowly, in your own time, making your way up to a seated position. You can open your eyes if you've got them closed. Just resting your hands on your knees and just take one deep breath in and out together, inhaling through the nose and just sighing it all out of the mouth. So now together now, inhale, exhale. And I hope you enjoyed that practice. I apologise that Miss Bonnie here interrupted. I guess it's one of those things about working from home. And I hope you enjoyed the practice, and I thank you for practicing with me today.